What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. Today we're going to talk about a guy that I left off my most improved player list. And it was mostly because he had two good months in the end, at March and April. Definitely showing that he's an NBA starter in this league, that he can make plays, he can create plays, he can, create his own shot every once in a while, knock down some corner and spot up threes and keep the ball moving. He's a good role player. He's a guy that, is a team player first, but he has a lot of potential. Kind of remind us of Damari Carroll, not just because he's a dark skinned guy with dreads and long hair, is because, he knows his role. He's not trying to do more than what he has to, but he also has potential to do more, and he continues to improve. So you want him to be more than what he is, because you never know how good he can be. If you let him be relaxed, if you let him get comfortable, you might just have a 3-and-D guy. But if you continue to let him work and give him more things to do and give him more things to challenge himself, he can expand his game and be a bigger player and have a bigger role on his team. And this team, Atlanta Hawks, is looking for some stars. Kent Bazemore, we already know that he's a role player. Dennis Schroeder showed that he is starting point guard in this league. Is he an elite point guard? No. But he did show that he can play. He helped the team make it to the playoffs with Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap. Those aren't superstar players at this point in their career. Paul Millsap is a good player. Dwight Howard is still a starter and a great player in this league. But, when you combine all of them together, they barely made the playoffs. So Dennis Schroeder did show you that he can make the playoffs with as a starter in this league and one thing I will say at the end of the day, Taurean Prince has shown that he can be a good solid starter in this league too. And, with his size and athleticism at 6'8", 220, and he's a 24-year-old, and he just turned 24 at that, and he only been in the league for a year. Now it's basically two, because this season is over. And his last three games was 20 points on 57% from the field, 23 points, 44% from the field, and 33 points, 70% from the field, 87% from the free throw line, and 3-point line, and 50% from the 3-point line, and 14% from the free throw line. So he has shown progress. He has shown improvements, and at the end of the day, that's what you want out of a young team. You want to be able to lose. I'm not a tanking guy. I prefer my team to go out there and compete. It builds good habit. It makes you want to strive. It makes you want to win. If you're just telling your team go out there and lose or put up empty numbers, it helps the team and the organization because it makes you tradable. Plus, on top of that, you putting up numbers, so it help your career a little bit. But sometimes we have seen a lot of players put up numbers on a bad team, and they have never became champions or never became nothing bigger than a bad team, good stats guy, and that can hurt or help your career. So Taurean Prince has shown that he's a solid player regardless if he's putting on a bad team or not, because it's still hard to score in the NBA. It's still hard to be efficient in the NBA. And, 3-and-D guys are coveted in this league. So last year he averaged 5.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, 40% from the field, 32% from three, 78% from the free throw line. This season he played 81 out of 81 games, stayed healthy. He went from getting 16.6 minutes to 30 minutes a game. He's shooting a career high 42% from the field, which isn't great, but it's an improvement from last season. He's shooting 38% from three. He went from shooting 1.7 last year to 5.4 this year. 38 is above average. He went from shooting 78% from the free throw line to 84. That's above average. That's exactly where you want to be, from 80 to 90. 4.8 rebounds, a career high, and 2.6 assists. That's a career high. And he's averaging a full steal a game and double-digit points a game, 14 points a game. That's pretty solid for him. Not only that, if you look at his numbers, he's been a consistent 14-point guy for the last couple months. And if you look at his numbers for the last 2 months, he's averaging 19.4 points a game, 43% from the field, 41% from three, 88% from the free throw line, 5.2 rebounds, 3.1 assists, and 1.3 steals, and that's for March. In April, he's averaging 17 points, 53 from the field, 48 from three, 100% from the free throw line, 3.8 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and that's every game. And he has upped his ability to handle the ball. He's becoming a decision maker, a playmaker. He's averaging a lot of turnovers, so I can't give him that much credit because he hasn't shown the ability to be an amazing playmaker, but he has shown signs that he could be one if he continued to work on that and in the pick and roll and just trying to create his own shot. If he wants to continue to take steps to be a star in this league, he already showed that he's a starter in this league, but now he got to take the chance to even become a better player and grow into an all-star or a star, even if it takes him a little bit more longer to develop. He is an older rookie. I mean, an older player for his age, for his years, I should say, because he only been in the league for 2 years and he's already 24. But at the end of the day, the Hawks needed somebody to step up. The Hawks needed some type of improvement because you can't just build all the way on the draft. We done seen that with the Sixers drafting Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, getting KJ McDaniels. None of those guys stuck around. Some of those guys, like the Phoenix Sun, Marquise Chris and Dragon Bender, and Alex Lynn, they show potential in the draft. And sometimes it's up to the player how hard they work, how much they want it, and if the result, practicing become a result and shows. And sometimes it can take 1 year, sometimes it can take 2 years, sometimes it can take three. Like we done seen with Victor Oladipo and Jimmy Butler, it takes 3 to 4 years to become a star or at least an all-star caliber player, and some even become franchise players in those spans. So everybody got their own development process. Everybody got their own way of trying to help the coaching staff, trying to help these players reach their full potential. Some players like Karl Anthony Towns develop like this. Anthony Davis averaged 20 and 10 in second year, and Taurean Prince has shown that, maybe he can be a star in this league. And I'm surprised when I see him get drafted. I thought he'd be a solid addition to that team. Obviously, they did too, giving him 16 minutes a game. But, after letting go Millsap and Dwight, more shots and opportunities opened up. And why not give it to a guy that you can potentially see as a piece to your franchise in the next couple of seasons? And even if he does become a star or all-star, that's one less player you got to draft. You know what you're going to get out of Prince. You know how good he is. You know how he's playing in practice. That's something that I don't know because I don't watch him practice. But the results are working because you can see the numbers when he plays in the games. And his numbers has went up the last 2 months, even though it's a little empty because he is on a bad team putting up stats and they need somebody to shoot the ball. They need somebody to take the shots. But he has been knocking them down and he has been getting a little bit more efficient from the field. Something that you definitely want from a 3-and-D guy is to shoot the three at a high volume while still being able to contribute other ways. And that's why, he can turn into, a better player. Remember, DeMarre Carroll, when he was starting, he was just a guy that was a regular player. Then he became a solid three-point shooter and a solid defender. Then he became great at both of those areas, but then he became a decent shot maker. And, Toronto ran right to him and signed him up real quick. Sadly, injuries has hurt his career, and he could never realize his full potential because of his knee injuries. But DeMarre Carroll was becoming from a good to great player. Injury just robbed him of that, and that's the sad part about it. But it looks like they got another guy to take his place. And even if Taurean Prince does become a better scorer and a better ball handler, it only helps the trajectory of how good this team could be, because now they can draft for a different position. Instead of drafting for the shooting guard or small forward position, they can draft probably a power forward or a center. They do got John Collins too, but I like what the Hawks are doing. I like this team. I don't know if you can rely on Dennis Schroeder being your best player. I don't like that. I don't know if Dennis Schroeder can lead you to a championship as your best point guard, or maybe they just wanted a point guard, so they just gave him the money because he's young and he has shown potential when Jeff Teague was playing. Maybe they just wanted to try him out. They didn't have no money, to give to any other point guard because there ain't really no young point guards out here that's not in the draft that you really want to take a chance on. And Schroeder averaged 20 points a game on John Wall, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. So he can play and he has been improving. I just don't know even this season if he can be your starting point guard on a championship team. We will never know, and he still got a chance to improve. But let me know what you guys think about Taurean Prince. Do you think he can be a star? Do you think he can be a potential all-star? Do you think he's just a good stats on bad team guy? Do you guys think he's just a guy that's making the best out of his opportunity? Would you see him getting max money? He already has overachieved for his position of his draft. They drafted him 12th, and he's already showing that he's a starter in this league, something that he wasn't last year. And, worst case scenario, you can at least get a first round pick for him, or, potentially package him with another player to get an all star, or you can just package him in another draft pick to get an all star. So that's the worst case scenario, that he becomes a role player or a 3 and D guy. Or best case scenario, he continue to expand his game, continue to expand his weapon repertoire when it comes to offense, and become a more efficient ball handler, because he does average a lot of turnovers. And they just started giving him that role, so it's gonna take some time to grow. It's gonna take some time to read the defense. It's gonna take some time to improve your basketball IQ, because you have to do it in practice, but you also have to do it in games. And doing it in games is so much different than doing it in practice, but you have to have the same mentality when you're doing it on the court. And if he can continue to add this playmaking ability to his 3 and D game, the sky is the limit for this guy, especially if he continues to work on his jump shot. He can probably come off some screens, probably get some spot up mid-range jumpers. And if he work on his ball handling, he probably can get to the basket more, and that can jump him from 14 to 18 to 19 points a game. And that might be enough to make you an all-star in the Eastern Conference, not the West. And especially if your team starts to win, you definitely would be on a lot of people ballot to be an all-star, especially at that forward position. If he was a guard, it'd be a little harder. But since he's a forward, it is even easier for him to make the All-Star game in the East as of right now. But we never know in the future. So check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description and comment section below. And let me know what you guys think about Taurean Prince.